Minnesota is going to win this series and knock out the Lakers, the 3 seed, 4 games to 1.
A few moments later.
You know, you guys are a developing roster. You know, you traded for a big generational piece, but that doesn't mean the roster is balanced. And you don't have time once getting Luka to make moves necessarily that are going to allow you to kind of fulfill that roster.
I don't think their regular season gave them it didn't give any of us or the narrative that how good of a team they were actually were. You know, when the postseason comes and you have that team of collective group, they have a strong 8 to 9 guys.
Yeah, from my perspective, there's 2 things I think that they had that you guys are looking for. One is an identity. They formed one this year. You guys are just trying to figure yours out.
Well, Minnesota is going to win this series and knock out the Lakers, the 3 seed, for games to 1. And you know what? A few moments later, you start hearing the usual excuses, spin zones, and a scramble that would make an egg blush. Because now, everyone around LeBron, the media, Clutch Sports, and the LeBron faithful are running damage control 24/7. If you know how this machine works, you already called it. Guys like Nick Wright, Shannon Sharpe, Kendrick Perkins, the LeBron superfans, pulled out their crisis playbooks before the final buzzer even sounded. And even looking at LeBron himself, this man has been running the same play since 2011. Blame the role players, blame the coach, blame the janitor at crypto.com arena, blame literally anyone but LeBron James. Cue the quote machine. You know, you're only as great as your teammates allow you to be. Ah yes, the classic LeBron line. Teams win championships, not just me and Luka. And right there, that's the escape hatch. That's the ultimate LeBron fan cop-out. When things go south, suddenly it's Minnesota versus the Lakers, not LeBron versus the Timberwolves. Funny how that works. My guy AD gave his 2 cents, then disappeared for the summer. Classic. And LeBron? Well, he's already asking, how did me and Luka lose? Buddy, there's 8 other guys on the court. And at this point in his career, LeBron isn't the GOAT of basketball. He's the GOAT of excuses. The undisputed king of deflection. And let's be real, LeBron has always been the king of passive-aggressive shots. He won't come out and say, yeah, Austin Reeves and Rui Hachimura let me down. No. He'll do it the LeBron way, with a sly little comment about teams winning championships. It's like watching a subtweet come alive. And then you get those clips where LeBron talks about how winning is never just about him and Luka. It's about the whole team. But then roll back the footage to 2016, and suddenly, it's that one right there made me the greatest player of all time. Oh, so when you win, it's about you. But when you lose, now, it's a group project? Got it. Do you see the hypocrisy? Because it's right there in neon lights. When LeBron wins, it's, my championship, my legacy, my GOAT case. But when LeBron loses, you know, teams win and lose together. It's not about me. That's convenient, huh? And look, here's my take. It's pretty simple. Superstar players get superstar responsibility. When your team wins and you play great, you get the credit. But when your team loses, especially if you fold in the clutch, yeah, you get the biggest slice of blame pie too. That's the burden of being the king. Heavy lies the crown, baby. And basketball isn't like baseball, where you might go 2 for 4 and still lose because your pitcher gave up 5 runs. In basketball, superstars impact the game every minute they're on the floor. Offense, defense, energy, leadership, all of it. So when LeBron starts hinting that Austin Reeves wasn't enough, or Rui's 23 points in Game 4 didn't cut it, or that Dorian Finney-Smith and Gabe Vincent stink, yeah, we get what you're doing, LeBron. Me and Luka? Oh, we're fine. But the rest of the squad? Not good enough. But here's where it gets really rich. Because if LeBron had won this series, oh, you know exactly what clip would be circulating. That one right there made me the greatest player of all time. No mention of teammates. No credit to the role players. Just LeBron. Always LeBron. Now, let's look at that Minnesota series for a second. This wasn't David versus Goliath. This wasn't some insurmountable mountain. The Lakers were the 3 seed. They had home court. They had LeBron and AD. They had momentum coming off the play-in and first round. This wasn't 2007 when LeBron dragged Larry Hughes and the ghost of Drew Gooden to the finals. This was a winnable series. But in crunch time, LeBron, just like Luka, folded repeatedly, and the proof is in the clips. Game 1, laid an egg. Games 2, 4, and 5 barely showed up in the 4th quarter. We're always told LeBron is a basketball genius, sees every angle, makes the right play. But time and time again, we see him missing big shots, avoiding contact, and passing up game winners. And then comes the cherry on top. LeBron, on a podcast after the series, says, "I don't lose sleep over that." Come again? You don't lose sleep over getting bounced in the first round? I mean, I get it if you're 40 and just collecting checks at this point, but come on, man. You're supposed to be the GOAT. Jordan would have turned into Batman cave after Kobe wouldn't have spoken to humans for 6 months. But LeBron, he's already back on Instagram showing off Taco Tuesday. And if you're Austin Reeves or Rue, you gotta be sitting there like, wait, what? We gave everything we had, and our leader is saying he's sleeping like a baby? Luka, who's trying to build his legacy. Hearing LeBron talk like this has to be a little unsettling, because deep down, we all know LeBron doesn't care about winning like he cares about stat. He cares about his all-time points record. He cares about playing with Bron. And hey, no shade, but just admit it at this point. And speaking of shade, LeBron loves half-truth. He throws out lines that sound reasonable, but fall apart when you actually think about them. Like when he says the Timberwolves were just more experienced, had more chemistry. Really? Anthony Edwards is 23 and had just one playoff run with this. Julius Randle, a playoff choker historically. Gobert? Yeah, that same Gobert, everyone clowns every. Minnesota isn't some seasoned dynasty. They're a solid team, but they're not the 2014. So when LeBron paints this series like it was some inevitable loss, like Rocky Balboa fighting Apollo, it's just not true. And if we want to talk about inexperience, maybe point the finger at JJ Redick, the guy LeBron rumored to be pushing his next coach. You want to talk about playoff meltdowns? JJ's got a whole highlight. Or Steve Nash in Brooklyn, another guy LeBron loves to buddy up with. So the idea that Minnesota had some huge edge, chemistry, and experience, that's just another classic LeBron narrative spin. Let's not forget, the Lakers went all in on it. They made big trades, pushed all their chips in, fought like crazy just to get into the playoff. But once they ran into Minnesota, styles make fights, and this was not some mismatch. It was a series they could have and should have. But instead, LeBron folded in the clutch, didn't own up to it, and then went back to podcasting about how he's sleeping. That's where we are now in year 21. And I'll say it again. The longer LeBron talks, the more he exposes himself. He can't help it. Every time he opens his mouth, it's another contradiction, another excuse, another spin. He'll say winning is about the team. Until he wins, then it's about him. He'll say he's a basketball genius, but forget to mention the 3 straight games where he bricked everything. He'll say he doesn't lose sleep, but then spends every day on social media defending his legacy. At this point, someone just needs to take the mic, because LeBron is showing us exactly where his priorities. It's not about titles anymore. It's not about competing at the highest level. It's about staying relevant, padding stats, and keeping the GOAT debate alive for as long as possible. And hey, that's fine. Just don't try to sell us this fantasy where losing is everyone else's fault, winning is all you. Because the receipts are piling up. And for every Nick Wright and Shannon Sharpe trying to cover for, there are 1,000 clips showing the truth. So shout out to Minnesota. Shout out to Anthony Edwards for seizing the moment. And shout out to LeBron, the GOAT of excuses. As always, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. And I'll see you next time, unless LeBron blames me for this video.